Hey, thanks for stopping by. Great to see you. It's time for your Scorpio September 2020 tarot reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, as you know. And it's great to see you again. Great to see you subscribers in particular. Love seeing you, and we have the best time here, don't we? On this channel, we have great tarot readings. They're good. They're different. And of course, I've done some private readings for some of you in the course of the last month, and it's been great to get to know you personally. And if you'd like to have a private one-on-one reading with me, then just check out the information that's in the description box below, and you'll see how easy it is for that to happen. Now, this deck is an independent deck. It's actually the artist has provided you with a Scorpio card, which we'll have a look at when that comes around. It's an independent deck, which apparently is no longer being reprinted. It's no longer being printed. Its second-hand price has gone through the roof. I'd never sell this. It was given to me by a witch, a wise woman, and I have a particular resonance with it, so it's good. I would not sell it. I think that if I was to give it to anybody, probably my daughter, I think, who is clairvoyant as well. So we shall see what there is in store for you, shall we? To see what there is for Scorpio September 2020. Let's pull 5 cards. The Empress. Hello, Empress. That's interesting. Very interesting. What's this one? The Page of Coins. I think that September for Scorpio is going to be good, and you need that for a break, don't you? You kind of think that it's about time that's come about. There's the Moon. I think you'll resonate with that card there in particular, Scorpio, so let's have a look. There's the Page of Swords. Fascinating painting. Actually, it's a collage, I think. I don't know a lot about collage, other than I was told that's collage. Apparently very difficult to do. I'm sure it is. But the outcome is really beautiful art, which gives you a very good sense of intuitively as to what's going to go through, and also psychically, clairvoyantly. What's the final card for you? There is the Queen of Cups for you, the Queen of Cups. Now, I won't give anything away. Why don't you come sit down here next to me? We'll have a look at these cards together while I do the reading for you. Let's have a look at the Scorpio card. Incidentally, next month's reading will be published on Wednesday, the 9th of September. At 2 p.m. US Eastern Time, but I'll put a note on the comments section so you can have a look at that. Let's have a look at this Scorpio card. This is what the back of the cards look like, incidentally. Some people like to see what the backs of tarot cards look like. Now, this artist has provided a card for Scorpio as well. You know, old astrology books think of Scorpios as being truly evil. Well, that's not right. As if they're thieves and scoundrels and sexual maniacs. But of course, everyone loves them when they are those things. But of course, Scorpios aren't evil or maniacs. They just have their way of drawing people in like a magnet and having their way with people. It's all sex, death, rebirth, and witchcraft over here. It's where the boundaries between any two things, bodies, bank accounts, this world and the next, where those boundaries are very thin. Now, Scorpio rules the underworld. So if you find yourself with her in your hands, you'll want to go deep, down to the roots. Go after what has been hidden from you, I think this is saying, although it's not technically part of my reading, it's just an energy that's coming up to me. Go after what has been hidden from you. The Scorpion has long represented magical and secret knowledge. It's the wisdom of the unknown. I think that's what you're after, and that is what you should go for. Now, let's place that away and deal. Now, you've got two major arcana, one after the other. Let's have a look at this Earth Mother, really. The Empress first. There she is. The daughter of the mighty ones. Let's have a look at her. Very much associated with Venus, so I see there's a Venus glyph here, and with the Earth itself. Now, pregnancy around here, I look at her here and it looks like she's pregnant, so you may become pregnant or you will hear of a pregnancy. I think this is about being in touch with the beauty of your life, and there's a lot of female cards around here, the Queen of Cups and the Pages of, let's have a look at them, the Pages of Coins and the Pages of Swords. I see them as being female figures, along with this Queen here. Even the Moon, in a sense, is really feminine. But this is, I think, a time for you to explore a relationship with your mother or with a maternal figure, or you may well be becoming a maternal figure or a mother to someone else. Now, if you're male, this doesn't exclude you. All males have a feminine side to them. It's just that the masculine side greatly predominates. So you may well find yourself in a nurturing situation as well. Now, whether male or female, I think you'll be empathetic and caring during this time. And this is reminding you that spirituality is expressed from the heart and not from the head. It's a time of nurturing other people, and in particular of nurturing yourself. Very much the thoughts of fulfillment here, of obtaining your potential and of success when it comes to opportunities related to business or the material world. Let me pull it out a bit further so you can see it in the context of these other cards here. Well, you know, really, the picture here, let's have a look at it. The picture says it all, doesn't it? The Earth Mother. She celebrates life. She's both pregnant with new life and in loving relationship with the child who grows within her. I think what we can say here is that this card is pretty well always called the Empress that I've seen, yet the qualities usually attributed to her, and as I see here in particular, are not so much those of a ruler as those of a mother, being able to nurture, to comfort, extend love to others, and to provide for their needs. Here, she is an Earth Mother because she lives close to the soil and nature. In fact, as I mentioned just a moment ago, her element is earth. It is primarily the two qualities of parental caretaker and being connected to the natural world that make her in the counterpart, I suppose, of the Emperor, which is in the tarot deck, although not in your spread. Now, she's very fertile and creative. She's a symbol of the potential of things growing, as is the earth. She's open to life and to the abundance of life. And she is particularly sensitive to the physical and emotional aspects, and is able to connect these to spirit. Spirit is not disembodied and abstract for her, but is everywhere, immanent throughout all of the world. It resides everywhere and in everything. In fact, in a sense, we could say that she herself is an incarnation of spirit. She embodies many of the traits that the High Priestess in Tarot has, but in her it's more grounded and personal. Her spirituality is sensual because it is wedded to life. It may be the sensuality of candlelight and incense, of earth-based ceremonies, of song and dance, or of any kind of beauty. Now, pleasure is a natural outgrowth of this orientation. This pleasure isn't separated from the deeper dimensions of life, but is a way of praising creation and our human bodies and our capacities. Now, she's not always slaving away over a hot stove or running around with a vacuum cleaner. But she has the time to celebrate life, to make love, and to play with her children. She includes them in her life, letting them see her for who she is. Now, this card is not limited to women who mother children. Any woman who has claimed her body and her connection to Earth, who lets her creativity and love come out, who tends to her creations with attentiveness and loving concern, is expressing the energy which is wrapped up in this card and this position. And although it is a feminine energy, men can express it too. I think this is indicating a quickening of energy. You are becoming full and juicy with life and about to give birth to something, an idea, a project, or something very creative you're going to be. This may be a good time to consider having a child or begin a new creative project or otherwise express your maternal or paternal energy. Yeah. It's certainly a good time to deepen and enjoy your connection with the earth, with sensuality and the body. Open your arms up and have some fun and dance around a while. Let's have a look at the major arcana, which is below it, and it is, of course, this card here of the moon. Now, here it is, the moon. Well, for me, it's Neptune in Pisces with Venus and Venus exalted. Yeah, Venus exalted is what I get. This is the ruler of the flux and reflux, the child of the sons of the mighty. Now, Neptune in Pisces. Pisces is very much associated with the subconscious, with emotions, with intuition and artistry. And this is the last of the major arcana cards for me, which have a zodiac sign associated with them. But Neptune in Pisces, Neptune's watery depths are associated with dreams, with visions and the imagination. And that kind of links it in quite well, I think, with the qualities of the moon. Now, it's possible here that there may be a period where you have some sort of mental confusion or you lack clarity, that there's some deception going on. I think you'll have increased psychic awareness during this period. There is a time in your life, I think, coming up where not everything is as it appears to be. There is a situation which is deceiving. You may feel as if you are kind of lost in life, almost as if you were in an unfamiliar area at night, in the dark, with no signposts, and you don't know which way to go. And this can often represent your shadow self, your subconscious or hidden self, harboring negativity that you have suppressed or not maybe even be aware of. Well, there's a need to release this destructive energy, and very often this can build up in childhood and it has been repressed. Often this can represent a sort of a bleak time in the journey and is sometimes considered a dark night of the soul. This phrase is interesting when considered in the context of this picture, because not everything is in darkness. Here we have a moon which is reflecting the light of the sun. It is the consciousness of the central figure which has some elements of darkness falling upon it. What we need to do is focus on learning to be at peace during times of sorrow or absence and the darkness of unknowing, and you'll know what that means to you. In order to accomplish this, you must keep your heart open to yourself so that you have the compassion and holding to also keep your heart open to the larger situation. You're not going to be protected by putting on armor. It is in being centered and open that you will perceive the situation more clearly and recognize what needs to be done. Now, the presence of the female figure in this card, I think, tells us that this is a sort of a feminine process. In some way, I think the message I'm getting is similar to the Hanged Man, which you may be familiar with, which is another tarot card, who's depicted as a male, to represent letting go of or turning upside down the masculine principles of being in charge and leading with the rational mind. The darkness here may involve a similar suspension of life as you know it, yet this process is decidedly feminine. It is watery, fluid process related to feelings and to waiting something out. I think the lesson here that's being asked for you to bring on board is to wait and listen. In order to listen to the subtleties of your feelings and perceptions, you need inner quiet. When your emotions are running rampant, you can't hear the whispers of the small, still voice within. You need to learn how to keep your fears and insecurities in check, and unless you can bracket these feelings, they'll distort your perceptions. I think that this is also, the message here is inviting you to relate to the changes in your life as skillfully as possible with a sense of balance and inner strength and trust. Avoid jumping to conclusions and getting caught up in unnecessary dramas. Peace in the darkness doesn't come with making things larger than life, but rather with letting the noise quiet down and abiding in inner stillness. When you sit with what is, accepting unconditionally, surrendering to them, peace can come. Now, your challenge may be to come to peace with changes or difficulties that you have not chosen, things that may be occurring out in the economy at large, or it could be a major loss in your life, a period of darkness, or the more ongoing flux represented by the cyclic changes of the moon. The moon rules fluids, by the way. In some traditions, the menstrual cycle is referred to as the woman's moon cycle. Your challenge is to live in harmony with these rhythms, I think. Now, during periods of change, you may experience your feelings as confusing. Can you allow the confusion to simply be there, one feeling following and seeming to contradict the last? It helps if you can keep the perspective that these are simply feelings, and feelings change. They are like clouds moving across the sky. If you can identify with the more spacious nature of the sky, the feelings will not be so disturbing. Now, this isn't to suggest that you dismiss your feelings. They contain important information as to the various expressions of your unconscious. It might be a good time to have a dialogue with your dreams, or to engage in artistic expression. Take care of your body, listen to your intuition. The principle here is not about exclusion, but about inclusion. The trick is to open to it all and not to get lost, like out in an area with darkness and known signposts. It is all about the changing moon flux of life. Let's see who some of these other characters are that are in your life, shall we? Let's look at this one in the middle first. Come here, Page of Swords. Well, what an interesting depiction of the Page of Swords. Here it seems to me that the idea is bigger than the brain that brought it forth. The page struggles to control a sword, an idea that is actually larger than she is. I'll call it a she because I'm getting very much a feminine energy around this card. In order to make the most of her idea, the page will have to try and fail to write it down or to communicate it. She'll have to work out the precision of her language, or her equations to articulate it. She'll struggle to get the idea off the ground. Inspiration is often easy. Translating it into the world is the hard part. It's unstable air, swords, so they look like, the artist looks like it's used these little dust devils that you see out in the Midwest or out in the middle of Australia. So that instability is associated or is depicted by these things, I think. I think that nothing there is fatal, though, nothing like the power of a cyclone or of a tornado. But I think you're going to get some grit in your eyes and down your throat. You're going to have to work to make this instability useful for you. Now, the astrological energies that I'm getting around it very much are Aquarius, Pisces, and Capricorn. So those people are going to be important to you. Now, this could represent a woman. Now, court cards, of course, are interchangeable by gender, who is stern and revengeful, firm and aggressive, but really quite skilled in the ways of the world. Really, the character of this page is stern and revengeful, and her logic is destructive. She could be firm and aggressive but she has a great practical wisdom and subtlety in day-to-day things. She has a great cleverness and dexterity in the management of practical affairs, especially if they involve any controversies or arguments or differences of opinion. She's very good at settling arguments and differences of opinion. Now, she's the earthy part of air. Now, earth as the page and air and swords, they're enemies and they weaken each other, so we should see some conflict in the nature here. But what this does is that for me, the implication of earth in air is that she deals with situations involving the mind in a very tangible way. That is, she and you are going to be able to manifest your thoughts and make them a reality. Now, if it's somebody else, this other person might appear to you to be someone of a child of misfortune, really, that has some trouble coping with things in life, and particularly things to do with material things. But she's the type of person, and it could be the case that she throws everything overboard, blows everything sky high, to the amazement of everybody around her. And yet later on, it turns out that she's made the correct decision. So I think you're going to be clever in practical matters, especially where arguments are concerned. Be careful that you don't become aggressive and vengeful. You're going to be very outgoing in your manner, and you're going to get your ideas grounded in a tangible way. You might be finding that you're fighting battles internally and externally, but you're going to be very good at settling controversies. Now, this is a time, I think, where you'll be following your own bent rather than following or serving another. And in due time, in due course, I think it's going to turn out that you've done the right thing. Now, this could be following your heart, following a lifestyle, maybe becoming a small entrepreneur or starting your own business. But in the suit of swords, doing that, it means that it's going to have some difficulties on the way through. What are the old altars that are present in your surroundings, in your life, and do you have the courage to destroy them? I think you might feel quite rebellious, You might be intimidating and say what you want regardless of the consequences. Your actions need to have a pure intent, or you could damage things, but you'll be adaptable in both your thought and in action, and you'll apply yourself practically in different situations. Have this thought in mind. My rebellion is positive, constructive, and creative. So let's have a look at the Queen of Cups before we finish with the Page of Coins, just so we don't do 2 pages in a row. Here is this Page of Cups. Well, the Queen of the Thrones of Water. I'm getting a lot of Cancer, a lot of Gemini around here. So these people are going to be important to you. And I think that her, and this is something you need to bear in mind. See, I think that her characteristics depend on the influences from the outside that affect her. She's very much at the disposal of every impact and impression. She's a woman who is an observer, dreamy, tranquil, poetic, kind, yet sort of passive in a way. But I do get a lot of psychic awareness here. I think she can see herself in others and also see through others and reflect that back to them. You'll have that ability during this period. Could be a good spiritual teacher, incidentally. I think there's the presence of Neptune around here as well. And Neptune is also about thoughts, about thinking, and that third eye activation. I think what this is saying is that you are going to be intuitive and emotionally mature. You'll be able to get along with and relate to your friends in a very deep way. Now, you could be quite meditative and sometimes feel that you want to go within yourself and to be at one with yourself. Now, you'll be practical. Well, that's not surprising because this was also talking about your practicality here. But you will be practical, I think. And you will, I think she kind of trumps this, unlike this Page of Swords, you will overcome the difficulties of communication and you'll be able to communicate your feelings and realizations to others. There'll be a need for you to get in touch with your inner feelings and be able to express those to others. There's a need to develop intuitively, emotionally, and also to relate to others emotionally. There's very much the influence of other people here. So the influence, be careful of the company that you keep during this period, because it's going to have a lot to do with how you'll take on the characteristics of other people. So make sure that any negative people are out of your life. That takes us finally to this Page of Coins. Well, the Page of Coins is talking to me really about creativity, about birth, is what I'm getting here. Birth and creation is what's appearing. Now, you might ask yourself, is there anybody around that could be a Page of Coins? Well, and the answer is, yeah, I think that there is. I think that those type of people are going to be Taurus, Gemini, or Aries. I think they're going to be important to you, and they're going to have something interesting to do with the activities that arise from this card. I think that you will be seen as being beautiful and strong, pregnant with life, generous and kind and benevolent, really quite like this Queen of Cups. This is a theme which is coming through for you. Although she's the lowest court card in the hierarchy, she brings everything back. She reincarnates everything there. So I think that it can refer to a physical pregnancy or the birth of ideas, a very productive time for you after a barren stretch. Marriage, motherhood, domestic life has a great emphasis here, and I think that you'll be very good at that and your work there will be rewarded. And say to yourself, I'm now ready for the new beauty in my life. Well, what a great set of cards for you, Scorpio. Well done. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, there you go, September 2020, another month and a step closer to the end of the calendar year. Let's all keep our spirits up, shall we, during this time. I think there's some aggravation yet to happen, but you are going to be fine according to that reading, and that's the most important thing. And in any event, I want you until next month to remember one thing always, and it is this, that you are a legend. and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.